Have you ever felt like life was testing you, pushing you to your limits, draining your energy, and making you question your strength? Maybe you've faced failure that shook your confidence, or endured stress that left you feeling powerless. In those moments, it's easy to believe you're stuck, that you're not strong enough to rise above it all. But here's the truth. Mental strength isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. The Stoics knew this well. They faced hardship, betrayal, and loss, yet remained calm and unshaken. How? Because they understood that true power doesn't come from controlling the outside world. It comes from mastering your mind. Today, I'm going to show you how to train your mind to overcome anything. You'll learn how to reprogram your mindset, develop unshakable self-belief, and turn negativity into growth. You'll discover how to master self-discipline, become unstoppable, and build resilience even in your darkest moments. By the end of this video, you won't just feel inspired, you'll have practical steps to build a mindset so strong that no setback, no failure, and no challenge can break you. So stay with me. The most powerful lesson is yet to come, and it just might change your life. 1. Reprogram your mindset. Your mind is a battlefield. Every day, thoughts clash for control, some lifting you higher, others dragging you down. The strongest walls in life aren't the ones around you. They're the invisible ones you build within your mind. Negative thoughts whisper lies. I'm not good enough. I'll never succeed. I can't change. If you believe those whispers, they become your reality. Like chains forged from doubt, they tighten with every fearful thought, trapping you inside a prison you never meant to build. I knew someone who struggled with those chains. His name was Daniel. For years, Daniel believed he wasn't capable of anything great. He was convinced he wasn't smart enough, confident enough, or talented enough to chase the goals he once dreamed of. Opportunities came and went, but his inner voice always held him back. Don't bother. You'll fail anyway. Then something happened that forced Daniel to rethink everything. One evening, while preparing for a presentation at work, Daniel overheard his manager talking to a colleague. They were discussing promotions, and Daniel's name came up. He's a good worker, his manager said, but he's just not the kind of guy who steps up. He doubts himself too much. Those words hit Daniel harder than any insult. He realized his manager wasn't wrong. His self-doubt had defined him, not just to himself, but to everyone around him. That night, Daniel sat alone, reflecting on every opportunity he'd let slip away. But instead of sinking deeper into regret, something shifted. He asked himself a question he'd never dared to before. What if I'm wrong about myself? That simple question cracked open a door he thought was sealed shut. For years, Daniel had believed his doubts were facts, that his mind was telling him the truth. But what if those fears were just noise? What if they were nothing more than old stories? Stories he had the power to rewrite? The next morning, Daniel wrote something on a piece of paper and taped it to his mirror. I have the ability to learn and improve every day. At first, it felt forced, unrealistic, even ridiculous, but he repeated it anyway. Every morning, every night, every time that inner voice whispered doubt. Slowly, something changed. The walls of insecurity that once seemed unshakable began to crumble. He started challenging his old beliefs. Instead of thinking, I'll mess this up, he asked himself, how can I prepare better? Instead of assuming failure, he focused on progress. Each step forward, no matter how small, gave him proof that he wasn't defined by his past doubts. Months later, Daniel faced another big moment, a presentation in front of senior executives. He was nervous, but this time something was different. As he stepped forward, the old whispers crept in. You're not ready. You're going to fail. But Daniel had learned to respond. He took a breath and told himself, I can do this. I've prepared, and I'm improving every day. He delivered his presentation confidently, and for the first time in years, he felt like the master of his own mind. Daniel's story is proof that mental strength begins where doubt once ruled. The Stoics knew this well. They believed that we are not victims of our thoughts, we are the architects of them. Epictetus once taught that it's not what happens to you that shapes your life, but how you perceive it. Change your perception, and you change your reality. Reprogramming your mindset isn't about pretending life is easy. It's about confronting those inner voices that limit you and daring to ask, is this really true? The doubts you carry aren't permanent. They're just thoughts, and thoughts can be challenged, rewritten, and transformed. Start now. Write down one positive belief about yourself, something you want to believe. Even if it feels impossible right now, repeat it daily. Make it part of your routine. Each time you do, you're planting a new seed in your mind, one that grows stronger with time. Doubt may still whisper, but those whispers will no longer control you. When you reclaim control over your thoughts, you unlock something far greater than confidence. You unlock freedom. The power to choose your mindset is the greatest power you have. Use it, and no challenge can break you. 2. Develop unshakable self-belief. Confidence isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. Brick by brick, thought by thought, action by action. People who seem naturally confident aren't gifted. They're trained. They've faced doubts, endured failures, and struggled with self-worth. But through those moments, they learned one thing. Confidence doesn't depend on what happens around you. It's built by mastering what happens within you. There was a man named James. He worked hard, excelled in his job, yet he doubted himself every step of the way. Each success felt like a fluke. Each achievement seemed like luck. No matter how many wins he had, one mistake could erase it all in his mind. He was convinced that one day people would find out that he wasn't as capable as they believed. One evening, after a difficult day at work, James sat alone replaying his failures. His mind kept telling him, "You're not enough. You're gonna fail." But then he stopped and asked himself a question he'd never considered before. Where's the proof? He combed through memories, moments of success, times he overcame obstacles, the praise he had earned, and realized something important. His mind had ignored those victories, focusing only on his mistakes. His doubt wasn't based on truth, it was based on fear. Doubt distorts reality. It magnifies failures while minimizing strengths. It convinces you that your worst moments define you. But self-belief isn't about never feeling doubt. It's about refusing to let those doubts control you. The strongest minds know this. Self-belief comes from proof. Proof that you can face hard times, take risks, and push forward despite fear. Every time you overcome something, no matter how small, you build that proof. Facing an uncomfortable conversation, pushing yourself to finish a project when motivation fades, or standing firm when others doubt you. These moments stack up. They remind you that you're capable, even when your mind tries to convince you otherwise. But real self-belief requires one more thing: detaching your worth from success or failure. Tying your value to achievement makes your confidence fragile. Win and you feel unstoppable. Fail and you crumble. Real strength comes when you know that your worth doesn't change, no matter the outcome. Marcus Aurelius once wrote that we must accept whatever comes woven into the pattern of our destiny. Confidence isn't about controlling outcomes. It's about knowing you can handle whatever happens next. The world can take away your job, your reputation, or even your possessions, but it can never take away your ability to think, to adapt, and to grow stronger. James learned this when his company faced layoffs. Despite being one of the top performers, he found himself without a job. The old voice returned. "See, you weren't good enough." But this time, something shifted. He reminded himself of the times he had succeeded, the skills he had built, and the resilience he had shown. Instead of crumbling, he focused on what he could control. Reaching out to contacts, improving his skills, and preparing for the next opportunity. Months later, he found a new role. A better one, because he refused to let self-doubt dictate his actions. Confidence doesn't erase fear, it confronts it. It steps forward when everything inside tells you to step back. Each time you silence the voice that says, "I can't," and replace it with, "I'll figure it out," you grow stronger. But self-belief doesn't come from thoughts alone. It's built through action. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to strengthen your confidence. When you avoid challenges, you reinforce the belief that you're not capable. But when you face them, no matter how uncomfortable, you send a powerful message to yourself: I can handle this. Failing doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're learning. Failing doesn't mean you've reached your limit. It means you've found the edge of your comfort zone. And that's where growth happens. Building self-belief is a choice to fight back against the voice that tells you you're not enough. It's a choice to collect proof of your strength And most importantly, it's a choice to stop seeking validation from others and instead trust in your own ability to face whatever life brings. Confidence isn't luck. It's not reserved for a chosen few. It's forged through struggle, sharpened by failure, and strengthened by every moment you choose courage over fear. The next time doubt whispers, "You can't," remind yourself of what you've already overcome. Remind yourself that you've faced hard times before and survived. Remind yourself that strength isn't about never falling. It's about rising every time you do. You are stronger than you think, and the proof is in your story. In the times you pushed forward when quitting felt easier, in the moments you stood firm when doubt tried to pull you down. Self-belief isn't something you wait to find. It's something you build, step by step, day by day. So when your mind tries to convince you that you're not enough, answer back with the truth. I already am. 3. Turn negativity into growth. Pain is inevitable. Disappointment, failure, rejection, no one escapes them. Yet some people seem to rise stronger, while others remain stuck in bitterness and regret. The difference lies not in what happens, but in how they respond. Negativity, when left unchecked, can poison the mind. It warps your thinking, making you see obstacles as dead ends instead of challenges to overcome. It whispers that failure defines you, that your mistakes are proof you're not good enough. The more you dwell on these thoughts, the deeper they take root, until they shape how you see yourself and the world around you. But negativity doesn't have to consume you. It can be transformed. Hardships, no matter how painful, hold hidden lessons, but only if you're willing to face them. The challenge isn't avoiding negativity, it's learning to use it. Turning negativity into growth starts with one powerful shift, seeing hardship as a test, not a curse. When life breaks you down, it's tempting to ask, "Why me?" But that question only feeds the pain. A stronger question is this: what can I gain from this? The mind resists this shift at first. Pain feels personal, failure feels final. But no setback, no rejection, no loss is ever wasted if you choose to learn from it. Each disappointment carries a lesson about your limits, your habits, your blind spots. And when you extract that lesson, you turn your struggle into strength. Adversity reveals what comfort hides. It shows you who you are when things aren't easy. The Stoics believed this deeply. They understood that hardship doesn't create weakness. It exposes what was already fragile. When pressure rises, it reveals your fears, your doubts, and your insecurities. But it also reveals your resilience, if you're willing to look for it. When you embrace this mindset, negativity loses its power. Failure no longer feels like an attack on your identity. It becomes a mirror reflecting where you need to grow. Each mistake stops feeling like a setback and starts feeling like training, sharpening your mind, strengthening your will, and preparing you for what's next. But growth doesn't happen automatically. Pain alone doesn't make you stronger. How you respond to that pain does. Dwelling on the past keeps you stuck. Blaming others steals your power. But taking responsibility, even for what's not your fault, puts you back in control. The moment you say, "This is hard, but I'll grow from it," you reclaim your power. You stop waiting for circumstances to improve and start improving yourself. That's what mental strength demands, not denial, but acceptance. Acceptance that pain will come, that setbacks are unavoidable, and that growth isn't possible without discomfort. Building this mindset takes practice. When negativity hits, your instinct may be to resist, to push away the pain or numb it with distractions. But the strongest minds know that resistance is what keeps the pain alive. Facing it, even when it feels unbearable, is what allows you to move through it. The Stoics didn't believe in suppressing emotions, but they refused to let emotions control their actions. They taught that no feeling, no matter how intense, has the right to dictate your decisions. Sadness may visit, but it doesn't have to stay. Fear may whisper, but you don't have to listen. Anger may rise, but you don't have to act on it. Instead of reacting blindly, pause. Sit with the feeling. Observe it without judgment. Ask yourself, what is this feeling trying to teach me? Anger may reveal that your boundaries need reinforcing. Fear may show you an opportunity for courage. Disappointment may highlight an expectation that wasn't realistic. Once you find the lesson, the emotion loses its grip. It no longer controls you, it guides you. And with each experience, you grow wiser, calmer, and stronger. But true growth doesn't happen in isolation. Surrounding yourself with the right people makes all the difference. Negativity thrives in toxic environments, places where bitterness, blame, and excuses are the norm. Being around people who constantly complain drags you into that mindset, feeding your doubts and reinforcing your fears. On the other hand, spending time with people who challenge you, who encourage growth, resilience, and responsibility, shifts your thinking. They remind you that pain is temporary, that mistakes are teachers, and that no setback is permanent unless you quit. These relationships strengthen your resolve, giving you the support you need to turn hardship into growth. Gratitude is another tool that makes this process easier. It sounds counterintuitive. How can you be grateful when everything seems to be falling apart? But gratitude doesn't deny pain, it balances it. When you practice gratitude, you remind yourself that even in difficulty, there's still good, still moments of kindness, strength, and hope. Taking time each day to reflect on what's still going well, even the smallest things, grounds you. It stops negativity from overwhelming your mind and reminds you that no matter how hard life feels, there's still something worth holding on to. Adversity won't disappear. Failure will still hurt. Pain will still demand your attention. But when you train your mind to ask, "How can I grow from this?" you gain control. You turn what once felt impossible into fuel for growth. Negativity isn't the enemy. It's an opportunity, a chance to strengthen your mind, sharpen your focus, and prove to yourself that no matter what life throws at you, you will rise. Hard times will come, but they don't have to define you. What defines you is what you do next. 4. Master self-discipline. Most people wait for motivation to strike before they take action. They believe that success depends on feeling inspired, energized, or in the right mindset. But those who rely on motivation set themselves up for failure. Motivation is unpredictable. It fades when challenges arise, when life gets busy, or when comfort feels easier than effort. Discipline is what remains when motivation disappears. And that's why discipline is the foundation of mental strength. Self-discipline isn't about pushing yourself relentlessly or living a joyless, robotic life. It's about mastering your choices. Learning to act not because you feel like it, but because you've committed to doing what's right, even when it's uncomfortable. Success isn't born from one heroic effort. It's the result of small, consistent actions repeated day after day. The Stoics understood this deeply. They knew that greatness doesn't come from rare moments of inspiration, but from mastering the discipline to show up, even when it's hard. Discipline thrives on structure. Without clear goals and a plan, your mind drifts. You second-guess your priorities. You waste energy deciding what to do next instead of acting. But when your path is defined, when your priorities are clear, hesitation disappears. You no longer need to debate with yourself because the decision has already been made. Starting small makes this process easier. When you set massive goals without breaking them down, you invite frustration. Big changes are intimidating, but small, deliberate steps build momentum. Writing a book starts with writing a single page. Losing weight starts with choosing a healthier meal. Mastering your mind starts with one decision: to act today, not tomorrow. Success doesn't require perfection. It requires consistency. Discipline isn't about never missing a day. It's about refusing to let one missed day become two. It's about accepting mistakes without giving them the power to derail your progress. Missing a workout doesn't erase weeks of effort. One bad decision doesn't define you. What defines you is what you choose next, whether you get back on track or let failure turn into surrender. But discipline isn't just about what you do, it's about what you avoid. Distractions are everywhere, and the mind naturally gravitates toward what's easy and familiar. Discipline demands that you say no to procrastination, to temptation, and to habits that sabotage your progress. Each time you choose focus over distraction, you strengthen your willpower. Each time you resist the urge to delay what must be done, you reclaim control over your mind. The key is to remove friction. Don't rely on willpower alone. Design your environment to support your goals. If you struggle to wake up early, place your alarm across the room. If social media steals your focus, delete the app from your phone during work hours. If unhealthy food tempts you, keep it out of sight. By shaping your surroundings, you make discipline easier and success inevitable. Routine is another powerful tool. When positive actions become habits, they require less effort. They stop feeling like tasks and start feeling automatic. Instead of debating whether to exercise, it becomes part of your morning. Instead of battling with yourself about work, you naturally start once your ritual begins. Routine turns self-discipline into second nature, a silent force that guides you forward, even when you don't feel like it. But discipline requires one more thing: patience. Progress is rarely instant. The mind craves fast results, but true growth is slow, messy, and unpredictable. This is where most people give up. They expect quick rewards, and when progress feels invisible, they quit. Those who develop real discipline understand that consistency comes first, and results follow. Self-discipline doesn't just change what you achieve, it transforms who you become. The more you push yourself to act, despite resistance, fatigue, or self-doubt, the more resilient you grow. Each decision to persist builds mental toughness. Each moment you choose courage over comfort strengthens your identity as someone who follows through. You've made it this far, and that says something powerful about you. Most people give up when things get hard. They chase comfort instead of growth. But you're still here, seeking wisdom, pushing forward, and challenging yourself to become stronger. That's proof that you're capable of mastering discipline and mastering your mind. If you're tired of starting over, commit to this. One action, one decision, one disciplined choice today. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait to feel ready. Take control now. Discipline isn't about doing everything. It's about doing what matters most and refusing to quit when things get hard. The strongest minds know this truth. You won't always feel motivated, but you can always choose to be disciplined. And that choice is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. 5. Becoming unstoppable through discipline. Some people appear unstoppable. No matter how many obstacles they face, they keep moving forward. Calm, focused, and determined. They seem immune to setbacks, like nothing can break their momentum. But that kind of strength isn't luck, it's built through discipline. I once knew a man named David. He wasn't particularly gifted, nor did he have an easy path in life. In his early 20s, he dreamed of becoming a fitness coach. But every time he started working toward that goal, something pulled him back. Exhaustion from his day job, fear of judgment, or moments of doubt convincing him that he wasn't capable enough. David tried to rely on motivation, but it failed him. One day he felt inspired, full of energy and determination. The next, he felt drained and overwhelmed. The pattern repeated itself, bursts of progress followed by long stretches of procrastination. Weeks turned into months. Goals turned into regrets. Everything changed when David stopped chasing motivation and focused on discipline. He realized that waiting to feel ready was the reason he was stuck. So instead of aiming for massive leaps, he set one simple rule. Every morning, no matter how tired, unmotivated, or busy he felt, he would spend 30 minutes on his fitness training. No excuses, no exceptions. At first it was hard. Some mornings he'd barely managed to get started, but he didn't quit. He showed up, tired, frustrated, even doubting himself, yet still committed to those 30 minutes. Over time, it became easier. The hesitation faded. The struggle turned into a habit. Eventually, those 30-minute workouts grew longer, stronger, and more effective. What once felt impossible became automatic. Discipline unlocked everything David had been chasing. His body grew stronger, his confidence rose, and his dream of coaching became a reality. But more than that, he learned something far more powerful: the ability to act even when his mind told him not to. That's what separates those who succeed from those who give up. The strongest minds know that discipline isn't about feeling inspired. It's about mastering your actions when inspiration disappears. They understand that greatness isn't born from rare bursts of effort. It's built through steady, consistent work. Discipline is freedom. The freedom to control your focus, your habits, and your direction in life. When you master discipline, you stop being ruled by emotions. Instead of waiting for the right mood to take action, you develop the ability to push forward no matter how you feel. Success demands this kind of focus. But most people never build it because they rely on willpower alone. They try to force themselves to stay motivated, and when that fails, they quit. But discipline doesn't rely on willpower. It relies on systems, Creating structure makes success easier. When you define clear rules, when you decide in advance what you'll do, you eliminate mental resistance. You stop wasting energy on decisions because the decision has already been made. David didn't wait to feel like it. He created a rule. 30 minutes of training every morning, no excuses. That decision, made once, freed him from the constant mental battle of wondering whether he should train or skip. His energy shifted from hesitation to action. Discipline also thrives on momentum. The hardest part isn't the action itself, it's starting. That's why the simplest way to build discipline is by committing to something so small that resistance has no chance to stop you. Not an hour at the gym, just 10 push-ups. Not a full day of writing, just one paragraph. Not a complete diet overhaul, just one healthier choice. Small victories build momentum. They turn discipline from something you force into something that feels natural. But discipline doesn't mean perfection. Even the most disciplined minds fail. What sets them apart is that they don't let failure break their progress. They know that one missed workout, one bad day, or one setback doesn't define them. What matters is how quickly they return to the path. Discipline is a mindset, a choice to act regardless of excuses, distractions, or doubts. It's knowing that growth isn't about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about creating that moment by showing up. The Stoics believed this deeply. They knew that external events are unpredictable, but self-control, the ability to command your mind and actions, is always within reach. David's transformation wasn't about talent, luck, or timing. It was discipline, the relentless commitment to keep going when everything inside him whispered, "Not today." Discipline is what carried him forward when motivation failed. When you embrace discipline, you become unstoppable. You stop waiting for inspiration and start building habits that create results. Each decision to show up, no matter how small, strengthens your mental armor. Each time you push past resistance, you teach yourself that you are stronger than your doubts. If you've struggled with consistency, don't chase motivation, build discipline. Start small. Set rules that eliminate hesitation. Remove distractions that steal your focus. And when setbacks happen, and they will, refuse to quit. Because the truth is this, success isn't about feeling ready, it's about being disciplined enough to act, even when you're not. The strongest minds don't wait for the perfect moment, they create it, and that's what makes them unstoppable. 6. Build resilience through failure. Failure feels like a wall, solid, unforgiving, and final. When plans collapse, when dreams crumble, when effort ends in disappointment, it's easy to believe that failure defines you. But failure doesn't have that power unless you hand it over. The strongest minds know this. Failure isn't the end, it's a starting point, a blueprint for growth. The setback you fear the most could be the exact lesson you need, if you choose to face it. Resilience isn't about avoiding failure, it's about learning to rise from it. The Stoics believed that hardship wasn't something to escape, it was something to embrace. They understood that failure reveals what comfort conceals. It shows you where you're unprepared, where your limits are weak, and where your character needs to grow. But resilience doesn't appear by chance. It's a skill, built through practice, reflection, and persistence. Each time you fall and choose to get back up, you harden your mind. You teach yourself that no matter how painful failure feels, it can never destroy you unless you allow it. Building resilience starts with one powerful shift, removing shame from failure. Most people attach their identity to their mistakes. They believe that failing at something means they are a failure. That lie keeps them stuck, afraid to try again, afraid to risk, afraid to believe in themselves. But failure is never a reflection of who you are. It's feedback. It's the world revealing a gap in your knowledge, a flaw in your preparation, or a weakness that needs strengthening. When you detach your identity from your failures, you free yourself to grow. Failure isn't proof that you're incapable. It's evidence that you tried. And the fact that you tried means you have what most people lack: courage. The courage to act. The courage to take risks. The courage to fail forward. But resilience requires more than just facing failure. It demands that you learn from it. Every setback carries information, clues about what went wrong and what needs to change. The mistake isn't in failing, it's in failing to reflect. Those who build true resilience never leave failure unexplored. They dissect it, identifying what worked, what didn't, and what they'll do differently next time. Failure tests your mindset. When things go wrong, your mind immediately searches for someone to blame: yourself, others, or circumstances. But blame steals your power. It convinces you that you're a victim, helpless and stuck. Resilient minds reject this. They take ownership, not because everything is their fault, but because responsibility is power. When you own your failures, you gain control over what happens next. Growth through failure demands patience. When you fall, your instincts scream for comfort, to retreat, to quit, to tell yourself, this isn't worth it. But growth doesn't happen inside your comfort zone. It happens when you resist that urge, when you lean into discomfort, sit with the disappointment, and choose to keep going. Failure also reveals the strength of your values. If you're willing to abandon your goal after one setback, you never truly believed in it. But when you know why you started, when your purpose is clear, no failure can make you quit. Resilient minds don't chase fleeting passions. They build their lives around unshakable values. Values that anchor them when everything else falls apart. Facing failure is painful, but avoiding it is far worse. The price of playing it safe is regret, the kind that lingers for years, whispering, "What if I had tried?" Failure may sting, but regret leaves scars that never fade. Resilience is built when you refuse to surrender to that regret. When you silence the voice that says, "You've failed too many times," and replace it with, "I'm not done yet." When you choose to rise, not because it's easy, but because you know you're stronger than your setbacks. The Stoics knew this truth. Setbacks are inevitable, but surrender is a choice. No failure can break you unless you let it. And when you rise, battered but wiser, you carry something powerful. Proof that failure doesn't define you. Proof that no matter how hard you fall, you can get back up. That's what resilience is. The quiet strength to stand again, even when the world expects you to stay down. It's the courage to say, "This isn't how my story ends." When failure hits, and it will, face it with intention. Ask yourself, what can I learn? Refuse to let pain close your mind. Refuse to let disappointment harden your heart. And most importantly, refuse to let your setbacks stop you from moving forward. You are stronger than your failures, stronger than your mistakes, stronger than the doubts that whisper, "You'll never make it." Failure doesn't define you, your response does. So get back up, one more time, one more step, one more shot. The strength you've been searching for isn't found in avoiding failure. It's built by rising every time you fall. 7. Cultivate a growth mindset. Some people stop trying after one failure. Others thrive despite constant setbacks. The difference? A mindset that refuses to see failure as defeat. I once knew a woman named Claire. She dreamed of starting her own business. For years, she kept putting it off, doubting her abilities. But eventually, she found the courage to take the leap. She poured her savings into the project, spending months building her brand. Then came the disaster. Her launch failed. She lost money. Her confidence crumbled. Most people would have quit. Claire nearly did. But before walking away, she asked herself one question: what can I improve? That shift from blame to curiosity changed everything. Instead of fixating on what went wrong, she studied her mistakes. Her marketing had been rushed. Her messaging lacked clarity. She realized her failure wasn't the end, it was feedback. With each adjustment, her business improved. Months later, she launched again, and this time it succeeded. Claire wasn't naturally fearless. She wasn't immune to doubt. But she had something powerful: a growth mindset. She believed her abilities could expand with effort, and that belief pushed her to keep improving when most people would have given up. A growth mindset is the belief that skills, intelligence, and abilities are not fixed. They can be developed through effort, learning, and persistence. People with this mindset don't see failure as proof they aren't good enough. They see it as proof they need to try again. Fixed mindsets, on the other hand, are destructive. They whisper lies like, "I'm just not talented enough," or "I'll never be good at this." They turn setbacks into dead ends. They convince you that your potential is limited, that no matter how hard you try, you'll never break past your current limits. But no one is born strong, confident, or resilient. Every strength you admire in others, courage, self-control, mental toughness, is the result of training. Growth requires discomfort. Without failure, you can't improve. Without resistance, you can't grow stronger. That's why challenges aren't obstacles, they're invitations to grow. Every difficulty forces you to adapt. Every mistake forces you to learn. Each failure presents two choices: surrender or improve. The growth mindset chooses to improve. Success rarely happens overnight. Most victories are built through trial and error, through showing up, failing, learning, and trying again. The Stoics believed this deeply. They knew that real strength doesn't come from avoiding hardship, but from embracing it, seeing each challenge as training for the mind. But a growth mindset isn't just about what you believe, it's about what you do. When you fail, ask yourself better questions. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" ask, "What can I learn?" Instead of thinking, "I'm not smart enough," ask, "What skill can I build to improve?" These questions shift your mind from helplessness to action. Your thoughts shape your reality. The words you speak to yourself define what you believe. People with a fixed mindset reinforce their limits through phrases like, "I can't," or "I'm not good at this." But those with a growth mindset speak differently. They add one powerful word to their doubts: yet. I can't do this, yet. I'm not good at this, yet. I don't understand this, yet. That single word keeps the door open. It tells your mind that growth is still possible. But belief alone isn't enough. Action creates the change. Taking small, consistent steps is the key. A growth mindset thrives on momentum. When you commit to learning one new skill, reading one new chapter, or practicing one small habit each day, you teach your mind that improvement is constant and progress is inevitable. Claire didn't succeed because she never failed. She succeeded because she refused to let failure be her final chapter. She didn't see her mistakes as signs to quit, she saw them as instructions on how to improve. Growth demands patience. The mind craves fast results, but real progress takes time. Each effort, no matter how small, is a brick in the foundation of mental strength. Even when results feel invisible, those efforts are building something powerful beneath the surface. When setbacks hit, and they will, remember this: failure is only permanent if you stop learning. The moment you decide to try again, to analyze your mistakes, adapt your strategy, or improve your skills, failure loses its grip. Each attempt sharpens you. Each mistake teaches you something you didn't know before. You are not stuck where you are. Your skills, your abilities, your mind, they can all expand if you're willing to step outside your comfort zone and embrace the challenge. The strongest minds aren't those who never fail. They're the ones who refuse to stop learning. When you hit a wall, don't turn back. Step closer. Examine it. Break it down. That's where growth begins. In the space where most people quit. 8. Effective stress management. Stress isn't the enemy. It's the mind's signal that something demands your attention. It sharpens your senses, heightens your awareness, and fuels your focus when managed correctly. But left unchecked, stress spirals out of control, clouding your thoughts, draining your energy, and making even simple tasks feel overwhelming. Most people handle stress poorly. They either suppress it, bottling emotions until they explode, or let it control their actions, reacting impulsively and making decisions they later regret. But mental strength isn't about ignoring stress or surrendering to it. It's about mastering it. The strongest minds understand this. Stress is not something to eliminate, it's something to harness. The goal isn't to avoid pressure, but to learn how to turn it into power. Effective stress management begins by changing your perception of stress. Instead of seeing pressure as a threat, see it as a challenge, a force that demands you to focus, adapt, and grow. Studies have shown that people who interpret stress positively as fuel for performance not only handle pressure better, but also experience fewer negative health effects. The Stoics believed deeply in this mindset shift. They knew that events themselves are neither good nor bad. It's how you perceive them that defines their impact. The same applies to stress. The tension before a major presentation, the anxiety before a difficult conversation, these feelings aren't enemies. They're signals that something meaningful is at stake. Resisting them only amplifies their intensity. Embracing them, seeing them as energy, turns stress into strength. But mindset alone isn't enough. Managing stress requires action. Practical steps that anchor your mind when emotions threaten to overwhelm you. One powerful strategy is controlled breathing. Stress hijacks your nervous system, pushing your body into fight or flight mode. Your heart races, your muscles tense, and your mind speeds up, making clear thinking nearly impossible. Controlled breathing interrupts this cycle. By taking slow, deliberate breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth, you signal to your nervous system that you're safe. This simple act resets your body, calms your mind, and restores clarity. Journaling is another powerful tool. Writing your thoughts down forces your mind to slow down and organize the chaos inside your head. Instead of drowning in worry, you externalize your fears, and once they're on paper, they lose some of their power. Journaling also helps you spot patterns, identifying triggers that repeatedly stress you out, so you can address them more effectively. Physical movement is equally crucial. Stress builds tension in your body, tightening your muscles and draining your energy. Exercise, whether it's weight training, running, or even stretching, releases that tension. It grounds your thoughts and resets your mental state. The Stoics valued physical exercise not only for its health benefits, but for its ability to sharpen the mind. They understood that a strong body supports a strong mind. But the most powerful tool for managing stress is perspective. When emotions run high, the mind narrows, focusing obsessively on the problem in front of you. The more you fixate on what's going wrong, the harder it becomes to see solutions. This is why stepping back, mentally or physically, is so important. A short walk, a deep breath, or even a pause to reflect can help you widen your perspective. Ask yourself, will this still matter a year from now? Most stress comes from magnifying problems, giving small setbacks more power than they deserve. By zooming out, by reminding yourself of the bigger picture, you weaken stress's grip. The Stoics practiced this through a mental exercise called premeditatio malorum, the practice of imagining the worst possible outcome. While this may seem counterproductive, it actually reduces fear. By mentally preparing for the worst, you strip stress of its ability to surprise you. Instead of panicking when setbacks arise, you respond with calm acceptance, knowing you've already considered the outcome. But the greatest antidote to stress is purpose. When your actions are guided by a clear sense of meaning, even pressure feels manageable. The mind is far more resilient when stress isn't random, when the discomfort you feel is tied to something bigger than yourself. Whether it's pursuing a career goal, caring for loved ones, or building personal discipline, connecting your actions to a meaningful purpose gives stress a sense of direction. Stress is unavoidable, but it's not unbeatable. When you face it with intention, when you manage your breathing, clear your thoughts through writing, embrace movement, shift your perspective, and connect your struggles to a deeper purpose, stress loses its grip. Pressure doesn't have to break you, it can refine you. Each moment of stress is an opportunity to sharpen your focus, to strengthen your mind, and to prove that no matter what life throws at you, you can remain calm, clear, and in control. Don't waste energy fighting stress. Use it, channel it, master it. Because the truth is this: the strongest minds aren't those who avoid pressure, they're the ones who know how to turn it into power. Mental strength isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. Every choice you make, every challenge you face, and every setback you overcome strengthens that inner power. The path isn't easy, but it's worth it. Reprogram your mindset to challenge limiting beliefs. Refuse to let self-doubt dictate your potential. Develop unshakable self-belief by recognizing your worth isn't tied to success or failure, it's built on your ability to persist. Embrace negativity as an opportunity to grow, knowing that hardship is not a punishment but a powerful teacher. Cultivate discipline by committing to small, consistent actions that create lasting change. Face failure not as a dead end, but as a stepping stone that reveals your blind spots and prepares you for greater strength. Train your mind to adapt, to learn, and to rise stronger every time you fall. These principles demand practice. They require patience, courage, and commitment. But with time, they will transform you. You will become calmer under pressure, stronger in adversity, and more resilient when life tests you. You can't control every event in life, but you can control your response. And that choice to rise, to keep pushing, to refuse defeat is what sets the mentally strong apart. Strength doesn't come from avoiding struggle. It's forged in the moments when you stand firm despite it. So commit to this path. Practice these lessons daily. Train your mind like you train your body, with consistency, effort, and purpose. And when you stumble, as we all do, rise again. We'd love to hear your story. Have you faced a moment where mental strength helped you push through? Share your experience in the comments below. Your story may inspire someone who needs it most.